Hey everyone, it's Cat back at you with another video. Today I'm going to be going over some beginner tips for one of my favorite games, Subnautica. No, not Below Zero, the original Subnautica. I have not gotten around to playing Below Zero yet. Bear with me. Before we get into the meat and potatoes, you know what I'm about to say. Like and sub. Just do it. Just crossed 600 subs. On our way to 1,000. We can monetize the channel. I can do this more. All right, that's it. Let's get into it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to break this video down into chapters, sections, whatever. So first, I'm going to go over inventory-based tips. So one basic thing you should know right off the bat, nothing stacks in this game. Everything you pick up takes up its own separate inventory slot. I wish somebody would have told me this before I would have started playing this game, because I was diving around the ocean, gathering up everything I saw. I was picking up all the acid mushrooms and plants and all that, and then my inventory filled up super quick. But when you're diving in for the first time, just know that inventory does not stack like a traditional game. Next, titanium. You will eventually get to the point where you'll be like, nah, I got plenty of that shit. I don't need it. But once you actually start building upgrades and blueprints, you need titanium for everything. My best advice is, when you start building your base, build a bunch of lockers so you have plenty of storage for your materials. You're going to need it. Lastly, when you plan on going out on an expedition, take only what you need. I tend to only take food, water, whatever tools I need, and a few extra batteries. That's it. That way you got plenty of room in your inventory. When you do pick stuff up, there's plenty of resources out there for you to discover, so you're going to want room in your inventory for that. You don't want just like random stuff taking up your inventory. That will lead me to our next chapter or category, or whatever you want to call it, survival. So in Subnautica, you have to keep an eye on your health, hydration, hunger, and oxygen in order for you to, not die. It's a survival game. You don't want to die. The first thing you should focus on is upgrading your oxygen tanks. It's fairly easy to do, and it makes everything much less of a pain to do to survive. Also, when you can, get the rebreather, because this allows you to dive deeper than 100 meters without your oxygen draining quicker. Second, craft the survival knife as soon as you can. It's one of the first blueprints you unlock. This allows you to gather many resources you otherwise couldn't, such as creepvine and coral. Coral is especially important because you can combine it with salt to make bleach, and bleach makes disinfected water. That way, you don't have to chase around bladderfish every time you get dehydrated. Speaking of salt, cooked food goes bad after some time while in your inventory. This is another thing I wish somebody would have told me, or I would have looked up or whatever before I started playing this game, because I cooked up a bunch of fish that I hunt. I took some time to catch, and then I, cooked them and put them in my inventory, thinking, oh yeah, I'll be good to go on an expedition away from my base. And lo and behold, they go bad, and it's not a fun time. So basically what you want to do, if you want to stack up some food for an expedition, be sure to cure it with salt. There's salt everywhere around the map. Now, next, I'm going to talk about some quality of life stuff. So once your base is up and running, you want a few things. First, you can craft a battery charger, which is really nice because many tools burn through batteries like crazy, and it's a lot faster swapping out batteries at the battery charging station compared to hunting down acid mushrooms and copper ore. Another thing you want at your base is a moon pool. This is a structure where you can park your sea moth or prawn suit, and it 1, charges your power cells, and 2, allows you to add an upgrade station that allows you to customize your vehicle and craft and install upgrades. Since we're on the subject, the main things you want to invest your materials in for your vehicles are depth modules. Essentially, the deeper you can go, the further you will progress in the game. The last big thing I think saves a ton of time is having a scanning room attached to your base. You can craft an upgrade that shows what you're scanning for on your HUD. So let's say you're looking for metal salvage. It'll show you on your HUD exactly where you can find salvage. Other things you can add onto your base that are nice but not necessarily a need are a water purifier. The reason for that, I don't think you necessarily need it, is because the amount of salt you can gather, and like there's just endless amounts of coral, you can get a really good water supply going. So I mean, it's more of a convenience thing than anything. And then the second thing would be the bed that allows you to skip past nighttime. Now I don't think that's necessary because it's not like Minecraft where you're trying to dodge creepers and stuff like that. It's more for, you know, so you can see while you're swimming around, but you do have a flashlight, and your Sea Glide actually has a flashlight attached to it, so when you're swimming around at night, it's not too big of a deal. It's more, like I said, with just like with the water purifier, it's more of a convenience thing than anything. It doesn't take too much materials to build, so I guess why the hell not? And finally, one other random thing I want to talk about is the main power source you want for your base. This, I think, is just solar. In my entire first playthrough, I didn't touch nuclear or bioreactor fuel. I literally just stuck like 5 or 6 solar panels on my base and didn't have to worry about it. The reason why you want so many panels is so you can compensate for the lack of light during the night, obviously, because it's solar power and you're gonna burn through power overnight without it generating anything. Every other source of power for me was just too much upkeep. With solar power, you could just set it and you just forget about it. If you guys have any other tips to add or any other questions, please don't hesitate to throw them down there in the comments. I try to respond to every comment thrown at me. That's all for me though. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.